But anyway, one more episode on the second half of season 3 is another one that I'm going to want to watch because I love the person involved.
Yeah.
Luna Vachon.
Yeah.
What a great girl, just a great talent. And just, again, what was she? I'm trying to count the generations. I can't remember she was either the second or third generation, but member of the Vachon family.
Yeah.
She'd always wanted to follow in the footsteps of Mad Dog and Butcher and Vivian.
Definitely.
And I've saw somebody tweeted out the clip of her in Florida with Kevin Sullivan the other day from 1983, where she looked like such a pleasant-faced young girl, and they shave her head and she goes to the dark side. And I can't imagine Luna with half a head of hair, or without half you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Without part of her head, half her head shaved, and etc., and just the gimmicks that she wore and everything. But great girl, great talent. Again, had troubles and issues, and was just struggled with being happy.
Well, I think one of the things that was illuminating to me, I mean, I remember Luna, growing up and watching her on television. I think she's the first female in a wrestling video game. I think someone will probably correct me on that.
Wow.
But I do remember the WWE or WWF Raw Super Nintendo game. You could play as Luna, which was so cool. But, for me, it's like she was always this captivating personality in wrestling. I mean, you go and you watch those promos of her in WWF where, she sounds like the lead singer of a death metal band, and she's like, the moon and the stars collide. And, and it's just, it's awesome, And so when it was suggested to do an episode on her, it was just, it was like, yeah, this is a story. I mean, coming from, the family she came from and just loving the business and wanting, like you said, to look up to, her aunt and, her aunt and her stepfather and, of course, Mad Dog and wanting to break into the business and how much she loved it. And of course, going through Moolah and then kind of breaking into Florida there. And that clip is just, it's definitely in the show and it's the best, I mean, I love all that era Kevin Sullivan stuff so much. It's so amazing. I just love the like look and feel of it. And she debuts as a well-to-do reporter named Trudy, which is her real name. I mean, she's Gertrude. Trudy, yeah. And she debuts as the reporter, and then of course Kevin Sullivan kind of bumps into her and smacks her, and then that kind of brings her she succumbs to his dark powers, and then they kind of convert her almost like Manson, style, into his cult, of followers, into the Army of Darkness. And it's just amazing footage and how her transformation into lunatic, into that character. And I think, but one of the more dramatic and just really heartbreaking emotional aspects of her story is I think after that, with the way the business changed, especially going into when she eventually did get into the WWF, it's like, the focus was not on women's wrestling at all. And I don't think she had much of an outlet for what she really, truly wanted to do in the business. And I think especially as it went on into the Attitude Era and how that really changed, I think that was really hard. And I think that, she just loved the business so much, and just to kind of, not have the opportunities that she would have liked to have had or really been. And I think she is a major an influential figure in women's wrestling, but I think she wanted to aspire to more. And I think just the way that the industry was, it just wasn't much of an outlet for that. But also, there's a lot of, substance, issues, struggles with addiction, struggles with mental health. And then, of course, we interviewed David Heath, a.k.a. Gangrel, who is a longtime partner to Luna. And, that the episode is kind of a lot of, the misadventures of their relationship, and the highs and the lows of that. And just, a sad story, but I think she, and a slightly misunderstood, person in wrestling, but an incredible talent. And it was really awesome to be able to spotlight that in the show, because I mean, really, she kind of takes your breath away when you see her, in her full Luna, gimmick.
If she takes your breath away to see her in her gimmick, you ought to let her hit you with one of those broad arms in the chest to see if your breath stays with you. Well, she was stiffer than the boys, and I mean, in safe ways, but she could take care of herself.
Yeah, exactly. And it was cool to watch, her match in ECW, and see her have that moment. And, yeah, it's cool.
I had a match with her on a show in Connecticut at a high school gym when I was doing the third party stuff, and her and Gangrel, neither one were booked that often to this point. So we all got on this show. This guy was running shows that drew 1,500, 2,000 people in, 99. And anyway, I had to please don't beat me up too bad, because I'd seen her work with, but I put Luna over, I put Sherry Martel over, I put Baby Doll over, Sunshine, Precious. I've been beaten by every woman in the business.